Hey everybody, I'm Mikey Andersen, and this is Fantasy Avenue, where each week we talk about everything you need to know in the world of fantasy football.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy Avenue, but more specifically, the Fantasy Avenue NFL Honors Awards Show. We'll take a quick break for our sponsors. Hello, it's Mikey. We do not have any sponsors this episode. Sorry, I'm gonna say sorry right away before we cut back to the show. This is a special episode. I'm also filming it on my computer mic. I'm gonna say all this real quick, right? I got some quick notes before we hop into the show, so don't you dare cut away from me right now. Filming this on the computer mic, having some problems. This episode is being filmed or recorded right after Coach Flynn's episode, absolute banger. You gotta check that out. But before the Super Bowl. And yet, it's going to get released after the Super Bowl. So we're completely ignoring the Super Bowl for this episode. We'll have a Super Bowl episode later. On the Coach Flynn episode, we got heated about the Super Bowl. We're going to completely ignore it. We're going to completely ignore the playoffs. This is based on the fantasy NFL season, which is completely the regular season, and it's oriented like a show. Now, this is episode 2 of the postseason content, trying to get a little bit more regular with it. You know, the whole journey to get ads, it's up and down, but consistency is the number one, because no company wants to give you money when you're coming out with one episode a month, and that's not going to be me. So, I mean, without further ado, this is the awards show. It's based on regular season fantasy play. It will not be like the regular NFL season has not had its awards, so we don't know MVP, probably Lamar Jackson. But like comeback player of the year on this show will not be Damar Hamlin. It will be a real comeback player of the year who gave us fantasy stats, right? So without further ado, I'm proud to announce that we're going to return to the show. This is a quick commercial break. This is so scuffed on my computer too. I apologize. I really do. But let's go. Let's cut back. Okay, and hello. I'm not editing, by the way, between those clips. I'm just stopping talking for a second. Hello. And welcome to the Fantasy Avenue NFL Honors Awards podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mikey Andersen. This is gonna be awesome. I'm like so excited to film this episode for some reason. I might start like doing my episodes in like this format of like a fake like show, so it doesn't just sound like a kid. I mean, it's okay to have a high school kid sitting down talking about football, but also be a little funny. It might add to some humor. Already, I can still be a high school kid, but I'm just hosting one of the most prestigious shows in all of sports television, right? Sports podcasting. That can be a thing. That could be true. I could believe that. I mean, do you hear? I mean, I obviously have a announcer's voice, so come on now. Let's get right into it. This is so exciting. We are announcing and it's not going to be a long episode either, because I got to go eat some dinner. This is super exciting. We have a big slate of NFL awards. And they're going to follow almost the exact awards, and I'm going to make up a few. But I'm going to read you off the list of awards that I have right now before I think of a few more. Without further ado, we will announce the MVP of fantasy football, the comeback player of the year, the offensive player of the year. We can't really do defensive player of the year, but we're going to do overall team of the year in terms of team who gave us the most points. Think of that as your defensive awards. Obviously, offensive rookie of a year, right? Which has to happen. We're also going to get a little special, right? We're going to go deep round flyer out the value pick of the year. Okay? The value pick in draft and the waiver wire pickup of the year. Okay, and without further ado, wait, that's not what I meant to say. And one last one, the Walter Payton Fantasy Man of the Year, which is basically just a feel-good story of fantasy football. And I'm going to make up a few more along the way, but we're going to jump right into it with my personal opinions. Some of them are definitely biased, but we all know NFL voting is biased as well. The top fantasy players of the 2024 season, in my opinion, okay? In my opinion. The number one player of this year, Christian McCaffrey. Is that a surprise? Is anyone surprised? Do I hear anyone surprised? No. It is so obvious. The third overall point scorer in fantasy this year, behind Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, is Christian McCaffrey, the top non-quarterback and one of the elite players who proved that even with injuries, he is a go-to guy and a probable number one pick in most drafts next year. I love it. I love it for him. He really showed how much of a dog he can be on a good team. And I have a funny prediction. We're going to come back to the 49ers a little bit later in the show. So congratulations. I really wish I had my soundboard. It's another thing that is broken and not working. So I could push the applause button. Remember the good old days where I used to have a soundboard? It's awesome, but it's not going to happen right now. So just clap it up for him. Clap in your head, okay? Clap it up in your head. The comeback player of the year. We're moving right along. I'm loving this. This is sick. Announcing the comeback player of the year is Mikey Andersen, local sports podcasting prodigy. And the comeback player of the year award for fantasy relevance and overall domination in the sport of fantasy football coming off an off year is none other than Baker Mayfield. Wow. An incredible performance he put up, scoring more it's not a Spanish podcast, more points this year than Patrick Mahomes. After, an abysmal start to his career, being made fun of by me for bearing a stark resemblance to Dwight from The Office. I don't know if you guys see it, but I definitely see it. Baker Mayfield, you are the comeback player of the year, the 13th overall ranked player in fantasy football this year. An incredible performance you put up. Now, it's not super impressive because he's a quarterback, mind you, but there's no one else that should have won this award, okay? I'm going to give it Baker Mayfield, comeback player of the year. If you go down these lists, well, there's going to be some bad awards. These are, how I talked about how I'm going to make stuff up. Yeah, I'm going to make stuff up, and it's going to be sick. The next award, let's go to the list, is the offensive player of the year. Basically, number 2 to Christian McCaffrey. Okay. Who stands out right behind Christian McCaffrey? And it has to be Tyreek Hill. It has to be. CeeDee Lamb with a close second. But Tyreek Hill won leagues. He got teams. He kind of fell off at the end in terms of his fantasy points. But at the start of the year, he would single-handedly lead teams to a 10-0 record. The guy who won this league, who I'm looking off the players list right now, I'm looking on my phone at the list of players. The league that I'm in, looking at, of course the top guy has Tyreek Hill. Yeah, guess who has Christian McCaffrey? The top guy. How did he get away with Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill? I don't know. I don't know how he drafted both of them. Who did I get? Well, I actually had Josh Allen, which was the number 1 overall player in fantasy. Yeah, I'll give myself a little dap real quick. Of course, he won the league, and Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year after one of the most dominant starts to a season we have ever seen. Incredible. Now it's a team award. This is usually where they would announce the Defensive Player of the Year. We're to the team award. Who was the overall best team in terms of fantasy points? Basically means what team provided us with the most fantasy relevant players this season. And it might go to a surprise. It's not the 49ers. Right? Not a team like the Eagles, stacked lineup. Not a team like the Dolphins. It goes to the Lions. We're giving the award to the Lions. We had a pretty good, a number 8 quarterback finish by Jared Goff. Unfortunately, he couldn't get it done. Well, we know how the NFC Championship went, and the Lions did not win that heartbreaker. They freaking choked. They choked like me when I was a little kid, and I was eating a meatball. And I tried to swallow the whole meatball whole, about choked, and then just swallowed it down. It's a core memory of mine because I could have died. And instead I saw that meatball that was about as big as my fist, and it's just like, you're going down the hatch, buddy. You can't stop me from a life of good. But they did choke. It wasn't an almost. It was a did. It looked like they could maybe pull it off still. And no. I don't want any blame for Dan Campbell. I'm tired of hearing the damn Dan Campbell blame, okay? He coached with a pair of balls as big as the freaking faces on Mount Rushmore, all right? Think of the faces. Yeah, well, 2 of those faces are his balls because of how big they are and how he coaches. I'm seeing my sound. This is going to be a loud episode. I'm so close to the... Honestly, the computer's mic is about as good as the mics I have in this office. Oh, boy. Anyway, he coached with balls, and he gets blamed for that, and it pisses me right off because he's a good coach. He is not the reason the Lions lost. Their players gave it up for him. But this is not what it's about. I said I wasn't going to talk about the playoffs. I'm talking about the playoffs now. I need to lock in Jared Goff. Okay, well, that's not a reason to give them the award. Okay, let's think about the running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. 2 running backs finishing in the top 12 of fantasy players this year. That is unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. Have 2,000 yards between 2 running backs. It's crazy. That's not even it. We have the number 3 receiver. God, I'm into this right now, dude. The number 3 receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a breakout, a player that got absolutely stiffed. Think of the most stiff thing you can think of, and think of it going right through Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that's what happened to him because he got absolutely stiffed of a All-Pro Pro Bowl nod. I hate it. How does 1,500 receiving yards, 120 catches, and 10 touchdowns? How does that not get you in the damn Pro Bowl? I mean, what? He was the 3rd best receiver in football this year, and he's not going to the Pro Bowl. What? Actually, is he going to the Pro Bowl? God, I need to stop talking out of my butt. I don't even know. But that's why. And let's finally go to the tight ends. The number 1 tight end in fantasy football, Sam Laporta. Only tight end this year to break 200 points. Travis Kelce, sit down. You're just like my dad. You're both named Travis, and you're both out of here. Replaced by a young gun. For my dad, he's on the ski hill, which he's fine with because he's gonna sit in the ski hill bar, drink some beer, have a good time. He doesn't need to be the Ripper, but I'm telling you, Travis Kelce does need to be the Ripper, and he's a little disappointed. So where Travis Andersen is living a good life, Travis Kelce is getting outshined by Sam Laporta. I love it. The Lions came out of nowhere, choked in the season, but they win the team award. It's incredible. We're going to move on. We're going to move right along. That was a team award. That was an award completely made up by me. My mom is texting me. Hold up. I'm going to text her real quick. Doing podcast. Did it anyway. Home soon. Let's finish this right up, guys. What do we got? The Rookie of the Year. I love this one. There's two players that... What? The leader in rookie stats. Hold the phone. I try to go to rookies. The leader... Oh, these are rookies for next year. Oh, shoot. I can't even look at rookie stats for this year. Well, I'm going to tell you 2 of them. There's Puka Nacua, and there's C.J. Stroud. All right? C.J. Stroud had a good season. But I'm going to look at quarterback ranks. He's the number 9. It's completely opinion-based who you're going to give this to. Puka Nacua is the number 4 receiver. You know what? I'm going with Puka Nacua. Better in his position. C.J. Stroud had a great year. Don't take it away from him. Definitely confident that he's going to win Rookie of the Year because voters in the actual NFL honors are biased towards quarterbacks, but I'm not. And I think Puka Nacua is a cool-ass name. I mean, my name's Michael Andersen. Have you heard of a whiter name besides like Danny Smith or something? Dan Smith? I think Michael Andersen might be the second whitest name to Dan Smith. Anyway, Puka Nacua is sure a cool name, and he won this year's Rookie of the Year on 105 catches for 1,486 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns, outshining Cooper Kupp insanely. That's going to be interesting next year. I'm quite excited to see how that goes next year in terms of target shares and in terms of where they get drafted because Puka Nacua's got the upside there for sure. I mean, he showed this year that he is the leading receiver in that offense somehow after Cooper Kupp is literally coming off probably the greatest season any receiver has ever had last year, winning the Triple Crown, getting so close to Calvin Johnson's record for receiving, had a ton of touchdowns. Did he set the record for catches, or was he really close? Like, Puka Nacua outshined that. Impressive. That is what deserves Rookie of the Year. Late round pickup of the year. This is awesome. And it's going to my man. Maybe a hot take, Sam Laporta could be winning this, but he's not winning this one. It's Evan Ingram, Jags tight end. Yeah, I'm a little biased. Yeah, I took him in the last round of 2 drafts, and he got me 173 points on the back of 114 catches. A tight end, 114 catches by the tight end. How many did Sam Laporta have? 86, and he was the leader.
So Evan Ingram maybe didn't get a ton of touchdowns, only 4. Not the greatest fantasy points, but the catches, that just doesn't happen. He is a solid number 1 option in that offense with 143 targets. He was just catching balls. I mean, I'm looking at this. Travis Kelce had 93 catches on 121 targets. Evan Ingram just got a bigger share. That is huge in fantasy football. If you're getting a bigger share of the targets than other players on your team, like that's just what solidifies someone as a number 1 receiver. Oh, man, my neck just cracked. On an offense, dude, just cracked again. Oh, my, man, I need some chiropractic. Oh, getting up there. What was I saying? Oh, well, he just proved he's a number 1 position this year. And usually number 1 receivers on playoff teams, well, the Jags didn't make the playoffs because they suck. Not that I'm one to talk about the Broncos, but whatever. They didn't make the playoffs because they choked. Anyway, on a team that's basically in the playoffs, you're not drafting their number 1 receiver in the last round. No one is. But Evan Ingram did it, and he wins the award for me on a little bit of bias. Not to be outdone, Sam Laporta wins the waiver wire pickup of the year. As a rookie tight end, this is going to be the 3rd time I'm talking about Laporta in this podcast. It's insane. He just had like a season that's a veteran has, you know? I'm looking at his stats right now. Very similar to Travis Kelce's. We can compare him pretty nicely to Travis Kelce's, except he's got more touchdowns. He had 1 less target than Travis Kelce, 7 less catches, about 100 less yards, but 5 more touchdowns. I mean, he showed he was a touchdown weapon. He had basically similar stats to the best tight end in the league. Other than that, Sam Laporta 100% deserves the waiver wire pickup of the year. I don't know how anyone else could get it. It was awesome. It was awesome. We're about done, okay? We're about done. What do I have? I have 2 more awards. 3 more awards. The best catch of the year. Just made that up while I was yapping. It's an award that I think should be in the real NFL. It doesn't have anything to do with fantasy football. But how are you not coming up with best catch of the year? It would be sick. Everyone loves to watch best catches. Just make it a freaking award, please. So that's going to be one for sure. Biggest choke of the year. Worst beat, fantasy bust of the year. Don't want to win that one. That's the only award on this thing you don't want to win. And finally, the feel-good story of the year. It's Walter Payton Man of the Year-esque. Obviously, you can't do that in fantasy football. So we're just going to pick the feel-good story, feel-good player of the year. But first, we're going to go to the catch of the year. And yeah, am I biased? I don't know. But am I going to pick Courtland Sutton? Yeah, I am. His catch against was it the Bills or the Chiefs? It was the Chiefs. Insane. First of all, he has literally the best catches every single week. Yeah, I'm a Bronco fan. I don't care. I see him firsthand. One-handed touchdown catches over and over and over and over again. Had a great year. He had a great year this season. He became the bona fide number 1 receiver in the Broncos offense. Had only 58 catches, had only 772 yards, had 10 touchdowns. 8 of them were one hand. The one against the Bills was the lowest probability of a catch, according to Next Gen Stats, which says all the metrics of any catch ever. That's insane. The lowest probability that any ball that has been caught has ever been caught for a touchdown. The best touchdown catch in NFL history. I mean, that's just wild. I think it might be just the best catch in NFL history because he's pinned against the sideline, one-handed toe drag that's literally like a pixel away from one blade of grass. I can't even describe it because it doesn't sound that impressive until you see it. He's almost horizontal when he catches the ball and then he face plants because he doesn't even have time to get his hand out because one's being held by the DB and the other's got the ball in it. I mean, it's just he gets the award. It's hands down. We need to make it an award. Yeah, he was the 34th best receiver in fantasy football. Do I care? Because the catch was dope. So good work, and you won. We're going to go to the fantasy choke of the year. How we're doing this is we're going to average draft position. We're going to go to the top and we're going to look at, number 1 drafted average draft position was Justin Jefferson. Makes sense, right? We're going to go down the list and find the player who really just sucked in terms of average draft position compared to how many points he scored. And I don't want to make it injury based. I want to make it purely on on performance, okay? I would give it to Cooper Kupp if it was injury-based. I would almost give it to him anyway, but I don't want to do that. We've talked about him already, and I don't think he deserves the slack because he was injured. The man who's going to get it, and this is funny because the top news says, once again, terrible in Week 18. So that just says it right there. It's Austin Eckler. He was drafted, average draft position, 16 overall, the fourth running back drafted in most leagues, and he finished as running back 28, scoring 11 points per game in an offense that literally had no weapons but him and some old head named Keenan Allen. How? Austin Eckler, I drafted you. Yeah, maybe I'm biased because you sucked all year, but you did the worst out of anyone that's drafted that high that didn't get hurt. I mean, even Cooper Kupp was average draft position was lower than yours. Like, you were the highest ranked that sucked. So disappointed in Austin Eckler. Man, I mean, it's just like, classic Chargers moment, okay? I would feel bad that I'm saying that to the Chargers fans who are listening, but, wait, they don't exist. Everything about the Chargers organization sucks, except now they have that big old Michigan coach over there, Harbaugh. You might try to turn it around, but in my opinion, the only way to turn around is get the ball to Eckler, and Eckler might have just shown that he is an absolute hogwash. So this season, he wins the award. Good for you, Eckler. I have him in a dynasty league, which means I'll have him next year. So Eckler, turn the heck up. Get this through your head that I'm not happy. Your team owner's not happy, all right? If there's no other reason to be good for Mikey, okay? I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that you get to take home a Fantasy Avenue award, even if it's shit colored, because that's what it is. It's brown and it's a toilet, and it's called the Stinker Award, and that's what you won. So, yeah, congrats, buddy. Take a quick breather. The final award of the night before we sign off. The feel-good story of the year. The player who went from rags to riches, not necessarily the comeback, but just like, it makes you happy that he did good this year, you know? It makes you be like, oh, the world has a soft spot for guys who have soft spots type shit, you know? I mean, what a quote. The feel-good story of the year and the winner of the last fantasy award of the season is my man Gardner Minshew. Oh my God. Was he the 21st ranked quarterback in fantasy? Yes. Did he not have that good of a season? Yes. Did his quarterback or did his team miss the playoffs largely because of him choking in the final game? Yes. But he had a good season overall. And I think he really showed that he deserves to be a starting quarterback in the future. You know, he came in for an injured quarterback. God, the quarterback's injuries were just insane this year. We had guys like Jake Browning, Joe Flacco, and Gardner Minshew start to pop off, really show that they could be something. Jake Browning could have a spot, could have a chance, you know. I would love for a team, like, who is really needing a quarterback? Not the Broncos. Who is really needing a quarterback right now? I would say, you know, go with the Seahawks. Did Geno Smith have a good year? No. Did the Seahawks have a good year? No. Seahawks, don't draft a quarterback high. Do my plan instead. Pick up Gardner Minshew. Pick up Jake Browning, Bengals quarterback, and have a three-way competition between the three journeymen, you know, rags to riches stories. Honestly, give it to Jake Browning too. I don't even care. Give them both the award. Geno Smith won it last year. They win it this year. Put them all in a quarterback race and see what happens. That's awesome. I'm happy for them. And I'm happy that I get to be done with this podcast because, you know, I'm really hungry. And I want to get in bed early because I got a ski trip for school, for Lifetime Sports tomorrow. That's going to be hype. Anyone who made it to the end of the episode, I'm happy for you. You know, Coach Flynn, I know you are, man. Let's freaking go. Our episode was lit. We're signing off, you know, pound it noggin type shit. I'm happy to be back, baby. Fantasy Avenue isn't going anywhere. The award show will be back again next year, I guess. I love you guys. Peace out.